A key part of JNA's group success lies in the professionals who trust us to help bring their visions to life.
I'm Abrie. I'm a structural engineer and I'm a technical director of JNA Group for the last 35 years.
I'm excited to sit down with Wynand to explore his design approach and his thoughts on the role of quality timber products in their work.
I'm Wynand Wilsenach. I'm an architect, and I've been in my own practice for probably 35, 40 years. I'd like to do things where you can see history in the material and it's aging, because we all age, and that the joy of it aging must be part of it, the product's kind of blessing. So timber does that.
Every piece of timber that you mold and manufacture into a structural element or aesthetic element is absolutely unique. Working with a living element.
I mean, you and I used poplar a lot, and we've done some stunning kind of barn type buildings with poplar over the years, which I think people always respond warmly to. Something that looks a little bit unrefined and probably relaxed.
It's almost a story.
Yeah, so that for me the nice bit about timber is it's warm to the touch. It's a very good insulator, and it's got a ton of personality, that's for sure. What is your favorite project that you think we've done together?
If we talk about the Noordhoek project, which was essentially a conversion where the traditional poplar poles was removed and beams introduced, I think the challenge was to create that loft space. And eventually that loft space flows over into that conservatory, which is this double volume
Chapel of
almost a cathedral appearance. And your first sight, you only see these massive poplar beams, while it was a hybrid structure and the steel beams were concealed. That was beautiful. And the way you introduced the hardwood finishing on the outside, the balau shiplap cladding on the outside.
Yeah, I must say all timbers behave so differently that you must choose the right timber for the right application.
It's very important that you know your material. You know the capability of the material, the advantages and the disadvantages. You know what character of the timber you need to champion. Well, in another project where we did the roof structure and the interior finishing of the ceilings, it struck me how the roof and the interior design is in harmony.
When you've got the mountains around you and they're so high next to you, to have that end gable, that a big exposed beam truss system that runs out onto a covered stoop just opens you up to the views around you. So if you orientate that barn in the right direction, then you can make the inside, which was a lot more refined actually. It was a little bit cigar bar-y, kind of loungy, sophisticated in some way.
So it's a very stylish drink lounge.
Yeah.
It's very stylish.
So you can bring that together and then your inside-outside ceilings starts flowing through in that glass triangle. And to try and get the glass to sit within that movement of the poplar is always tricky. That was quite a challenging one, trying to make it a little bit more formal and a bit more refined. The dark colours also made a big difference, and the steel cabinetry. And in the end, it came together very nicely, I must say.
Connections in timber structures is very important because most of the failures of timber structures happens in the connections. If we think about the house in Paarl Valley that we did together, where the connection of the tie beams and the rafters has a very specific exposed steel plates.
If you're going to use the timber in a more modern way, my inclination would be to downplay the connections a bit. You have to secure them secretly and very securely. I think from your point of view, making it and building it, it's harder to do a non-celebrated connection than a celebrated connection.
It's always easy to just slap a plate on or something.
But I think if you make a connection that speaks to the quality of the timber and how timber performs, if you then see the connection, you think that makes sense. But you and I always try and make a connection fun. Here we did something that's quite clean, picks up a bit of that modern aspect of the house.
But I think the most important thing is that the whole configuration and connection is just not a standard thing. It must tell you that it has been attended to. There has been attention to the connection detail, because that tells a bit of a story of the structure as well.
The textures, I mean, wood just gives you such nice texture.
From my experience in building these structures, where I see the biggest value of an architect is in determining the proportion of these structural elements.
I always look at what people have done before And if you see what people have done before, you can quite quickly see what works and what doesn't work. One always thinks when you walk onto a site that you cannot believe how many hands it takes to build a house and what a strong team you need to get something done properly.